otherwise it makes no sense because there would not be any kind of.
Good evening, everybody, and hello from Croatia. We are here in Dubrovnik and just enjoying a few days between tours. I finished up the Provence tour with Nina Sefuzati, which went so well that we're offering it again next year if you want to go next year. And now we are in Croatia about to start our Dalmatian Staycation. So it's going to be a 8-day tour that focuses on Dalmatia. And so this is not something that's part of the tour, but Andrew thought I needed to see it because I actually had never been here. This is Dubrovnik. So what we thought we'd do tonight is show you a little bit about the sort of atmosphere of Dubrovnik because it is a pretty happening place. Wouldn't you say?
I would say. It really, really reminds you of Venice. And a quick tidbit on the history of Dubrovnik. This was started being a city in about 850, and after ages under Venetian domination, it became independent and paid tribute to the Ottomans and blah blah blah. But it used to be called Ragusa, and was the second largest trading power in the whole Mediterranean for a while.
It is nice when your teenagers learn history and remember history. That's awesome. So yes, Luca's going to be your guide here next year. Maybe.
Someday. Well,
Someday.
We've been discussing. Luca graduated from high school, so someday soon, we very well may have an Adventures with Sarah tour that will be called Adventures with Sarah and Sons. And Luca might be your guide someday. Maybe. I don't know. What do you think?
Probably eventually.
Eventually, yeah.
Don't hold your breath.
I'm going to put my money on that, yeah.
All right, so I thought what we'd do is we just have a little walk. But Andrew, what do you like so much about Dubrovnik? Why did you insist we come here?
Because
I'm going to sit down because I'm a lot taller than him.
yes, thank you. No matter how crazy it's come here sometime with tourism and other things, I kind of fell in love with it last year because it was it wasn't crazy busy and everything like it had become. And I said, when you come to a place a million times, sometimes you get a little jaded and you're like, yeah, it's not bad. Oh, sorry. But,
The ferry.
it is really amazing. And last year I was kind of able to see it again with this is how it used to be. So I was like, yeah, it's like, this is pretty awesome. It's like, it's been a while since I was really like, yes, Dubrovnik. But it is so beautiful. And I don't really think, I know there's wall towns and I know there's seaside towns and there's plenty of seaside towns in Croatia, but this is just something totally unique. And it does have this vibe, especially at night, with kind of everything going on and everyone being here and musicians playing around and things like that. It's perfect.
Excellent. All right, well, Nico has also declared that what have you declared about Dubrovnik?
I have officially declared that this is better Venice. It's very hot, but Venice is also very hot. It's less I don't want to say weird smelling, but it's less weird smelling.
It is less weird smelling, it's true.
Venice is kind of weird smelling, I can't lie.
Yeah.
Also, there's no mosquitoes, which is extremely nice because in Venice, what was that, 3 years ago when we were over at Stacy's?
Yeah.
We were getting just devoured by mosquitoes. It was terrible.
Yeah. So Nico's previous favorite city in all of the world was Venice, and now he loves Dubrovnik the best. I think the reason he likes Dubrovnik the best is because over here, you can see there's lots of people waiting to go out on boats. And over here on the other side of this fortress, which Luca loved, which was a Maritime Museum, the other side of that is a swimming hole. So we could just walk over there and swim in the nice warm Mediterranean, which we did for quite a while today. And you can't do that in Venice, actually.
If you hate swimming in the sizzling 1,000,000-degree sun, then you can visit the Maritime Museum. So.
Yeah, Luca was not so excited about swimming. Andrew clearly was.
Oh man, this is like one of my top visits to Dubrovnik, and I've been coming here for 22 years.
Oh well, thank you. I feel very honored. So
If you want good representation of how the Adriatic looks and sort of the vibe around Dubrovnik, I recommend the movie Porco Rosso. That's.
Oh yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Porco Rosso is a good movie. Yeah.
Miyazaki.
So here's what I thought we'd do. So we're down at the harbor, and we thought we would take you guys for a little walk, and you can see how happening Dubrovnik is at night. Now, I love, of course, Venice is wonderful, and that's really a city that I could say is kind of similar because this used to be a part of Venice for a period in the past. But Venice does not have a party vibe, I will say that. This is, as I mentioned in the previous video, as expensive as Venice, and maybe even more expensive. Dubrovnik is off the hook crazy expensive, but it definitely has more of a, like, it's a party vibe, don't you think?
Yeah, this is the place to go. You can be with family or your spouse or just like hanging out and chilling with friends. So yeah.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and have a look and see what everybody's doing at sunset here in Dubrovnik. We'll go for a little stroll. Shall we? All right.
I think we shall.
We shall. All right, let's go.
The thing about Dubrovnik is that there's none of those like little old ladies that say no music past 10 o'clock.
It's true. That's why a lot of Venice is quiet after about 10 o'clock because the elderly residents who live there have insisted on that. But here in Dubrovnik, they like to party all night.
And the beach in the old town doesn't close till 2 in the morning. So
that was a very interesting piece of information.
I was kind of actually shocked that
yeah.
it was till 2.
You can swim until 2 a.m. Oh, look at that. You can see the crescent moon up there.
And another thing about Dubrovnik, there's just like, there's cats everywhere.
There are cats everywhere. It's true.
I will not recommend that you pet them because diseases and stuff. But they're very nice to look at.
Yes, there are many, many cats. I've also been enjoying looking at all the people dressed up in summer dresses. Like everybody here is wearing their summer best. So we tried the gelato over here, our first night, and it was pretty good. What did you think, Boo?
I got the yogurt cherry flavor.
Amarena is always a really good flavor. It's true. So these are part of the really thick walls. And you can walk around the top of the walls if you watched our earlier video. If you haven't watched our earlier video, you should, because Andrew and I are really funny, aren't we?
Oh, we're really funny, and we sweated. We sweated for that live stream. You know, it would be perfect to go right now. Unfortunately, the walls close at 7:30. So
it would be perfect now.
But now we got the breeze going on. This is about as pleasant as it's been weather-wise the entire 3 days.
Yeah, it's been really, really hot and very stuffy. So let's.
And everyone you see here, these are all people probably staying here. There's no cruise ships in today at all. So it's been also a nice, pleasant surprise just to not deal with it.
The crowd has been less.
A cool thing about Dubrovnik is that you can tell when it's been influenced by Venice because the churches look like Venetian, like straight up. That one over there looks extraordinarily Venetian, and this one has, I think it's the sort of similar looking
Venetian Gothic style, yes.
Yeah.
That is true. All right.
And about every 5 minutes there's an airplane flying overhead because the airport's just about 20 kilometers away.
Is it?
Yeah. There's a gazillion flights now.
Well, let's have a stroll. You can see there's tons of restaurants. This one over here looks particularly elegant. We walked up the steps this way and had dinner, which those are where the steps from Game of Thrones, the Walk of Shame, is. Lots of people over there hanging out taking pictures.
This is the
Stradun. Oh, yeah, and our local guide told us that this used to be a canal, actually.
Really, it did?
Yeah. Yeah, it was like 2 islands in the past.
And if you're local, you don't have to walk on the Stradun. You just take one of these side streets here and then go on that side street all the way to the end, and you avoid this whole, like...
All the people.
craziness.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's those people.
There's a lot of those people here. Yeah.
It is a party vibe.
It is a party town, yes. I think they've had a little bit of local beer, right? How do you say beer in Croatian?
Pivo.
Pivo, yeah.
Yeah, too much pivo, and it's only, what, 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock, yeah. We were hearing that our local guide also told us something very funny, which is that the ground here you can see looks really polished, and it's not marble, it's limestone. It's just been worn down. And he was saying, oh, you know, when it's raining, it's too slippery to walk in shoes, so the locals go barefoot. And just as he said that, somebody was walking barefoot. Yeah, you can see the steps go up, 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 up. So it's like a V, so steps on this side, and then if you could look through these buildings, you'd see steps up on this side, and then this is kind of in the center.
But one of the benefits of the probably being pretty expensive is, yes, there's some people who are drinking maybe a little too much beer, but you don't have the stag parties here because
It's too expensive.
It prices them out. Even if there's cheap flights, everything else here doesn't work. So
Yeah.
So it's really not like some places you might have been like Prague and you get stuck with the drunk stag parties. This is not really that kind of place. Everyone's just having a good time.
Yeah.
That's true. There's no people that are like really drinking to get drunk.
I'm sure there are actually,
but
but
there's like not very many.
yeah. So a lot of the buildings here have been partially at least reconstructed because of the 1991 war. So it looks old, but it also, to my eyes, looks a little too beautiful, a little too perfect because a lot of it has been put back together. But it's very beautiful. They have a lot of nice little shops, a lot of ATMs. Because actually, interesting point, you can't use euros here, can you? They don't. I mean,
No, not until January 1st.
January 1st, they're part of the EU, but
Yep.
but they're part. This is the interesting thing. They're part of the EU, but they don't take euros. They have their kuna, which is their own currency. But you also need to exit the eurozone for some reason and go to passport control.
Yeah, they're not in Schengen yet. But January 1st of 2023, you could bring your euros and you don't have to show your passport when you're coming in from, let's say, Italy or Slovenia or wherever you're flying from, like Germany or Amsterdam or Paris. So it's going to be even easier next year because you don't have to try to convert whatever, 623 kunas into whatever it equals. So who knows if that's going to be better or worse for the prices, but it's easier for us. Let's face it.
You have to divide everything basically by 7 to figure out how much it costs. And because of that, I think they charge whatever they want because nobody can figure it out. So I think my dinner tonight was like 150 kuna or something like that, which I think is maybe $20, which feels pretty expensive, but I don't know, maybe it's not. So, yeah, typical touristy things. This Captain Candy thing is like a new chain that's popping up everywhere like a fungus.
It's like pirate candy shop.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's a cool thing. So this town is part of Croatia, and obviously there was a couple of some things that happened in the 90s, and you can still see that in the streets, and some of the street signs would have bullet or shrapnel or whatever.
Yeah, so if
Yeah,
you were
so pockmarks in the street.
if you're old enough to remember during the 90s and the 70s, the Balkans did a Balkans thing. Yeah, 90s, okay. If you can remember in the 90s, the Balkans did the Balkans thing, and this city, Dubrovnik, was actually put under siege and shelling and many not good things. But
But
that is a part of its history.
that's one of the interesting things, though, is how much the Balkans have cooled off since then in such a short amount of time, too.
Yeah.
Like, it's really cool to be here and see how much you think the Balkans are going to be like and how much they are not like.
Yeah, exactly. A good question somebody had on the live stream here. Is it a cash economy or is it a credit card economy? I have found it interesting so far that when I was in France, France has turned to almost an entirely credit card economy. And here, so far, even at the grocery store, they didn't want to take my cash. They wanted credit cards. Do you think that's an effect of the pandemic, people taking cards more?
No, I think here everyone knows it's just easier to like everyone's got credit cards now, and it's easier to like when you go to the cash machine, how much is this kuna? What is it worth? Yeah, so everyone's taking credit cards because everyone wants to pay with credit cards.
Yeah, so they make it really easy. And one little hot tip travel-wise is before you travel to Europe, number one, tell your bank the countries you're going to. But number two, try and get a tap credit card, the contactless payment, instead of one that you have to put in the machine, because they really prefer that here, the tap one. And Apple Pay works almost everywhere that I've been.
And one of the best ATMs here is this OTP banca, which is always a green color OTP. That's like the best conversion and the least amount of fees. But there's a lot of bankomats that are post-pandemic that have popped up that are just ATM cash machines. They're not related to any bank, and those are the biggest ripoffs.
Yeah, you don't want to use
and
those.
they like sprung up like wild, like weeds.
Yeah. So
Unfortunately.
just make sure that any ATM you ever use anywhere when you travel is attached to a bank if you possibly can. I know, like in Thailand, that's not as possible as other places in Asia. It's not possible, but here definitely you want to do that. Well, you can see the sun is setting as we've been filming. It's been getting darker and darker, and the sky is turning a beautiful periwinkle color. So this is the gate, the Pile Gate, right?
Pile Gate.
Pile Gate, and the other one's called?
Cloche Gate.
Cloche Gate. So this is how we arrived here. So if you arrive by bus or by taxi, you're going to arrive at that gate there.
Yeah, there's really only two main gates that you're going to go in. There's one gate that you have to go all the way up these steps, and believe me, you're not going to use it just because you do that step once, and it is like Stairmaster to the maximum.
Yeah.
So when it gets super busy in the summer, and this is not super busy actually yet, they will have police.
Really?
They will have police at both gates saying, okay, everyone who wants to come in, stay out, because we're just going to let out the people that need to get out, and then they reverse it. So you actually have police, like traffic police, but it's for people, for foot traffic, not for cars.
So, Andrew, you booked us an Airbnb or an apartment inside the walls,
Yes.
and do you think that people should aim for that?
Yeah, I'd say, yeah. If you have a really aversion to stairs, or you're planning on bringing way too much luggage, which of course you shouldn't do,
nobody who follows me brings too much luggage.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Then I'd say first time in Dubrovnik, go for inside the walls, because you want the atmosphere. You want to just be able to pop in, pop out all the time. Biggest thing really is just make sure you book something. Try to book something where on booking or Airbnb, it just tells you how many steps you have to do.
Yeah, because there are a lot of steps, and that could be something that, especially if you aren't carrying a backpack, which you, I think, should be. If you aren't, you might regret that. So, all right, Boo. Any travel tips for people about Dubrovnik so far?
There's a good Bosnian restaurant.
Yeah.
And they serve Bosnian coffee there, which is Turkish coffee, but since it's a Bosnian restaurant, they call it Bosnian coffee.
All right.
I can't think of anything. I'm sorry.
Put him on the spot. All right. Well, we do have a destination in mind here. We are getting to the Pile Gate and where our little apartment is. So we're going to take a little detour here. Yes, to the Gelato Shop.
Yes. Okay, here's a good thing to point out with these signs here on the side street.
Yeah. This is actually a really nice thing. They make these banners for every street.
Yes, because finding the actual name of the street is kind of difficult, and if you find it, you can't pronounce it, because, like, look at the name of the street that you guys are on.
Ulica Nalezhevskovicheva.
Yeah, so, or, hey, Clara Stone's Coral Restaurant is on this street.
Oh.
Where you live.
Cool.
All you have to do is remember that.
Yeah.
Just check this for whatever businesses are on that street, and that is really, that's like your human GPS.
They're really nice too. I mean, I think they've done a nice job keeping it tasteful, So let's go and have a look at the Gelato Shop. Can't guarantee I'm going to be approving, but we'll find out. All right. Okay, guys, go on. Oh, watch out. There's a waitress behind you. All right, Nico, surprise me.
Gelato?
Yeah, you pick a gelato. You surprise me, yeah? All right. So if Croatia is on your list of things to do, we do it. You can come with us, with Andrew and I. Andrew specializes in Croatia. This is really one of his great passions because he actually lives really close to here. He lives right on the border of Slovenia and Croatia. So we do tours here, but we also do travel consultations, so we can certainly help you plan your trip. This whole week is going to be our Dalmatian Staycation. So we're going to go pick up our group tomorrow in Trogir, and we'll stay there 3 days and then 4 days out on the island of Vis, and then 1 night in Split. So you're going to get lots of Croatia. There's going to be fine dining. We're going to have a Michelin star restaurant on our tour, along with some really interesting food experiences. So stay tuned all week for some wonderful tips and images of beautiful Croatia. So thanks for joining us here this evening in Dubrovnik. I got a gelato I got to go eat, so I got to go. So andiamo. See you later.